Yes, we are winning this war in Gaza, day by day, tunnel by tunnel, building by building. True victory demands the full dismantling of every single structure above ground and every terror tunnel below ground in Gaza, so that Gaza can never again serve as a launching pad for terror. That takes time, and we are doing it, but it should not be coming at the unbearable price we are paying in the lives of our brave, holy IDF soldiers. Last night, 5 more holy IDF soldiers were killed in Gaza. Scream to the heavens, because this is just insanity. A just war that should have been over a long time ago. It is beyond frustrating. It is madness that we are still losing our holy IDF fighters in Gaza. This is a war we should have finished with a knockout punch months ago. We have the power, we have moral clarity and the justice in order to do what needs to be done. But instead we are watching our sons, husbands, neighbors, friends fall in territory in Gaza that we've already conquered again and again. Some people say the war is dragging on because we are trying so hard to save all of our remaining hostages in Gaza. And yes, that's definitely a part of the problem. But the truth is even more disturbing, that this war is being restrained by lawyers, dictated by diplomats, and compromised by deals with enemy-enabling regimes like Qatar. We are sacrificing our best for legal insanity, misunderstanding within the West of the Islamo-Nazi evil we are up against, and geopolitical considerations. And it is literally a disgrace. Last night in the town of Beit Hanun in Gaza, 5 more IDF soldiers were killed and 14 more wounded in a vicious Hamas ambush. In territory we already conquered, Israeli journalist and Middle East expert Tzvi Cheskeli thinks that this vicious attack was planned specifically for the Trump-Netanyahu meeting in D.C. to further create the pressure for Israel to give in to the latest Qatar-Hamas ceasefire demands. Hamas has had the time and ability to plant those IEDs, dig in, and then fire upon our soldiers from cover. Why? Because they have the fuel, the food, the supplies. Aid that came in on our watch, because the IDF is still incredibly allowing the United Nations to distribute humanitarian aid that goes directly to Hamas, the enemy, and the United Nations knows it, due to the Israeli legal establishment's paralyzing guidelines. This isn't cautious warfare. This isn't morality. This is suicide with a flag wrapped around it. Let's start with the hard truth. The Israeli government officially decided that no humanitarian aid should reach areas controlled by Hamas in Gaza. That is official government policy. And yet, it keeps being delivered by the United Nations directly to Hamas and to Gazans, who then return to areas where Hamas terrorists still roam. Why? Because the IDF, paralyzed by the unelected and immoral legal dictatorships of JAG within the army, is refusing to enforce the government decision. Aid continues to flow. Hamas continues to eat. Our hostages continue to suffer, and our IDF soldiers continue to die. It's not just a military scandal. This is a national betrayal. Just the other night, Israeli journalist Amit Segal reported about a tense government meeting behind closed doors where Prime Minister Netanyahu clashed with IDF Chief of Staff Zamir. The topic? The same one that's costing us the lives of our best and brightest soldiers. Why hasn't the IDF implemented the government's own official policy to separate civilians from the Hamas terrorists and then impose a full siege on the areas where the Hamas terrorists remain? That's not a fringe demand. That's government policy decided by the government cabinet. And yet the IDF's top brass resists because of immoral directives from the legal officers in JAG. He literally told Netanyahu, no, we're not going to do it. As these immoral directives are followed by the chief of staff, instead of following government policy, we continue to bury our holy soldiers. Meanwhile, the Trump administration, the best friend we ever had and ever will have in the White House, they are placing us in an impossible situation. Let's talk about the elephant in the war room. Qatar. Yes, Qatar. the state sponsor of the Muslim Brotherhood, patron of Hamas, funder of Al Jazeera's anti-Israel, anti-West, anti-Semitic incitement machine, is somehow still the lead negotiator in ceasefire talks. And worse, Trump and his advisor Witkoff continue to trust Qatar as the neutral broker. This is the same Qatar whose money, support, and political cover enabled the October 7th massacre and mass rape of our innocent Jews, and who is directly responsible for our hostages still being held today in Gaza. The same Qatar that shelters Hamas's leadership in luxury hotels in Doha. All President Trump has to do is threaten Qatar to get our hostages released. It could have been done October 8th under Biden. Yet instead, Trump trusts Qatar in the negotiations. How are we expected to defeat Hamas when the main diplomatic track, supported by our closest ally, President Trump, runs through Doha, Qatar, the capital of genocidal Islamism? It's madness. No self-respecting country should be forced to negotiate its national survival through the same regime that armed and emboldened its murderers and holds on to our hostages today. And yet here we are. And on top of all of that, the Israeli cabinet already made the decision. We will never again pull back from territory in Gaza that our forces conquer from Hamas. Period. But what's in the latest Witkoff ceasefire deal being discussed? Again, that Israel must withdraw from areas we've already paid for in blood. Again, as we had to do after each previous ceasefire deal. This is strategic insanity, tactical absurdity, and morally indefensible. You don't win wars by capturing enemy ground and then giving it back for them to use to then attack us and kill our soldiers. You don't fight genocidal death cults with diplomacy based on their own sponsors' terms. You don't save lives by sacrificing your soldiers to delay global outrage. The way the Trump administration is forcing us to fight this war in Gaza is horrendous. Don't get me wrong, it is much, much better than what the Biden administration did to us. No comparison at all. But still, it's horrendous. Why? Why are we letting this situation continue? I think I know the answer, even though I don't even think it suffices, but I think it explains it. The unspoken truth is that Netanyahu and President Trump have been coordinating towards a grand diplomatic vision: destruction of the Iranian proxies that surround us here in the Middle East, destruction of the Iranian nuclear and ballistic programs, realignment with Saudi Arabia, and a reordering of the Middle East for the benefit of world security and world trade. That's what's going on. And it's in that context Israel's necessary defeat of our Islamo-Nazi enemy in Gaza, while necessary, it still stands out as a sore thumb to the Sunni Muslim leaders of the Middle East, especially Saudi Arabia. So Israel has to manage the fight in Gaza carefully so Trump doesn't lose the support of the Sunni countries, meaning mostly Saudi Arabia. That would then ruin the grand plan they're working on for the Middle East. The insane thing about this is that even Saudi Arabia has publicly declared that Hamas must be removed from power in Gaza. But Saudi Arabia is more afraid of the public perception in its own streets in Saudi Arabia and throughout the Arab world to the blood-libelous headlines about Gaza. So what's the cost of managing Gaza instead of defeating Hamas like the IDF should be doing or should have done months ago? Humanitarian aid keeps flowing right into Hamas's hands. Ceasefire proposals like the Witkoff plan are taken seriously, even though they demand that Israel pull out from territory we've already conquered. Hamas is allowed to regroup, rearm, and kill more of our soldiers, just like they did last night. So now, here's how we actually achieve total victory, and quickly. We know how to win. We've always known. Our IDF knows. It's not a secret. Number one, evacuate all non-combatants from Hamas-controlled areas. Clear distinction is made. No more human shields for Hamas to use them. There are none left in the Hamas terrorist areas. Number two, impose a full siege on every area Hamas armed terrorists remain. No aid, no supplies, no fuel, total encirclement of that area until surrender. Number three, implement President Trump's immigration plan. Gazans given the option to leave Gaza and rebuild elsewhere in the region. Many want out. Let them finally go. And four, make Gaza Jewish again. Jewish homes, Jewish infrastructure, Jewish life, real deterrence, permanent security. There is no other way to protect Israel Israelis will not be safe with another Arab self-rule in Gaza that will inevitably turn into another terror stranglehold again. This is not about vengeance, and it's not about justice. That is sanity. That is the only plan. We will win because we have the strength, we have the truth, and we have the right and justice behind us. But it is unbearable that we are losing the finest of our sons, not because we can't win, but because we're being stopped from fighting like we need to and like we mean it to end this quickly. Our holy idea of soldiers should not be pawns in diplomatic theater. Their blood should not be the price of global approval. Their lives must not be sacrificed on the altar of international and legal hypocrisy and immorality by our own legal establishment. No more aid to Hamas. No more negotiations through Doha, Qatar. No more legal insanity that puts immoral JAG decisions above battlefield commanders. This is our land. This is our war. We have to protect our 10 million citizens of Israel. And it's time to fight it on our terms. We will win with clarity, with courage, and with full Jewish sovereignty. Just may we stop burying our heroes before we get there. In the meantime, everyone, strengthen your faith in God above. He's got this, and we are winning this war. But we cannot remain silent about the obstacles still standing in our way from achieving proper and total victory quickly without having to sacrifice so many more of our holy idea of soldiers than necessary. Strengthen your faith. We are on the right track. But raise your voices about all this. Share this video. And remember, Am Yisrael Chai. We're winning. We're going to win with total victory. Hopefully sooner than later, hopefully without too many more losses. But we are winning. If you are not yet a subscriber to our daily, belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect, truthful videos about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world, what are you waiting for? Go to pulsevisual.com and click to subscribe today. And yes, we are a donor-based operation. We need your donations for support in order to make these videos and get our videos seen and do all the work we do. So every once in a while, whether a large donation or a small donation, just go to pulsevisual.com and click on the donate button. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.